Good morning, my dear students. Today, in geography, we are going to start a new chapter, that is Lifelines of National Economy. Children, in this chapter, we will see how modern means of transport and communication serves as a lines of our nation and its modern economy. Children, let's see what we are going to study in this chapter. In this chapter, we will see the means of transport, and in that we will study about roadways, railways, waterways and airways, then communication, international trade and tourism as a trade. We use different materials and services in our daily life. Children, some of these are available in our immediate surroundings, while other requirements are met by bringing things from other places. Goods and services do not move from supply place to demand place on their own. The movement of these goods and services from their supply location to demand locations necessitates the needs for transport. Some people are engaged in facilitating these movements. These are known as to be traders who make the products come to the consumers by transportation. Thus, the pace of development of a country depends upon the production of goods and services as well as their movement over space. Therefore, efficient means of transport are prerequisite or necessary for fast development. Children, movement of these goods and services can be over three important domains of our earth, that is land, water and air. Based on these, transport can also be classified into land, water and air transport. For a long time, trade and the transport were restricted to a limited space. With the development in science and technology, the area of influence of trade and transport expanded far and wide. Today, the world has been converted into a large village with the help of efficient and fast moving transport. Transport has been able to achieve this with the help of equally developed communication system. Therefore, transport, communication and trade are complementary to each other. Children, today India is well linked with the rest of the world despite its vast size, diversity, and linguistic and socio cultural plurality. Railways, airways, waterways, newspapers, radio, television, cinema, and internet, etc., have been contributing to its socio economic progress in many ways. The trades from local to international level have added to the vitality of its economy. It has enriched our life and added substantially to growing amenities and facilities for the comfort of life. Transport plays an important role in economic development. Transport is not only important for industrial development, but in addition to this, modes of transport also provide speed to development of all the other sectors. In time of natural calamity, transport plays a very significant role. Mode of transport can be divided into land, water and air transport. Now children, land transport further can be divided into railways, roadways and pipeline. Water transport can be divided into inland and overseas, and air transport can be divided into domestic airways and international airways. And domestic airways can be divided into public undertaking and private airlines. Due to the different types of landforms in India, different modes of transport such as roadways, airways, railways, pipelines, waterways, etc. prevail here. Children, let's start with roadways. India has one of the largest road networks in the world, aggregating to about 2.3 million kilometers at present. In India, roadways have preceded railways. They still have an edge over railways in view of the ease with which they can be built and maintained. The growing importance of road transport as compared to the rail transport is rooted in the following reasons. First, construction cost of the roads is much lower than that of railway lines. Then second, roads can be traversed comparatively more dissected and undulating topography. Roads can negotiate higher gradients of slopes and as such can traverse mountains such as the Himalayas. Then road transport is economical in the transportation of few persons and relatively smaller amount of goods over a short distance. It can also provide door-to-door services. Thus, the cost of loading and unloading is much lower, and road transport is also used as a feeder to other modes of transport, such as they provide a link between railway stations, airports and seaports. Children, once again listen it very carefully, the importance of roadways, or why roadways still have an edge over railways in India. Because the first point is construction and the maintenance of road is much lower than the railways. Second, roads can traverse comparatively more dissected and undulating topography. Third, they can be negotiate higher gradients of slopes and can traverse mountainous regions such as the Himalayas. They can reach remote villages and hilly regions where railway tracks cannot be laid. Then, roads provide door-to-door service. Thus, the cost of loading and unloading is much lower. Then the next one, road transport is also used as a feeder to other modes of transportation. For example, they provide a link between railway station, airports and seaports. Then they link the villages, towns and cities with the railways. They provide linkage between port and the market and trading centers. In India, roads are classified in the following 6 classes according to their capacity. The first one is Golden Quadrilateral. Second, National Highways. Third, State Highways. Fourth, District Roads. Fifth, Other Roads. And sixth one is Border Roads. Children, in India, roads are classified in the following 6 classes according to their capacity. The first one is Golden Quadrilateral. Second, National Highways. Third, State Highways. Fourth, District Roads. Fifth, Other Roads. And sixth, Border Roads. Now, the Golden Quadrilateral Superhighways. Children, the government has launched a major road development project linking Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai and Delhi by 6-lane superhighways. The North-South corridor linking Srinagar and Kanyakumari and East-West corridor connecting Silchar in Assam and Porbandar in Gujarat are a part of this project. Children, once again, listen it very carefully. The 2 corridors which are a part of this highway. The first one is North-South corridor which connects Srinagar to Kanyakumari, and the second one east-west corridor which connects Silchar to Porbandar. The major objective of these superhighways is to reduce the time and distance between the mega cities of India. These highway projects are being implemented by the National Highway Authority of India. Children, listen once again. Who look after this project or these superways? The highway project are being implemented by the National Highway Authority of India. Now the next one is national highways. National highways link extreme parts of the country. These are the primary road systems and are laid and maintained by the Central Public Works Department. Once again, children, just listen. Who look after this? Central Public Works Department, CPWD. A number of major national highways run in north-south and east-west direction. The historical Shesha Suri Marg is called National Highway number 1 between Delhi and Amritsar. Children, National Highway number 7 is the longest, and Delhi and Mumbai are connected by National Highway number 8, while National Highway number 15 covers most of Rajasthan. State highways. Roads linking a state capital with different district headquarters are known as state highways. These roads are constructed and maintained by the State Public Work Department in the state and union territories. Children, who look after here the work of state highways? PWD, Public Works Department. Then the next one is district roads. These roads connect the district headquarters with other places of the district. These roads are maintained by the Zilla Parishad. Who maintains these roads? Zilla Parishad. Then other roads. Rural roads which link rural areas and villages with towns are classified under this category. These roads receive special input under the Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. Under this scheme, special provisions are made so that every village in the country is linked to major towns in the country by an all-season motorable roads. Border roads. Apart from these, Border Roads Organization, a Government of India undertaking, constructs and maintains the roads in the bordering areas of the country. Children, listen it once again. Border roads are built and maintained by Border Road Organization under the authority of the Government of India. This organization was established in 1960 for the development of the roads of a strategic importance in the northern and the northeastern border areas. These roads have improved accessibility in areas of difficult terrain and have helped in the economic development of these areas. Children, roads can be classified on the basis of the type of material used for their construction, such as metalled and unmetalled roads. Metalled roads may be made of cement, concrete, or even bitumen of coal. Therefore, these are all-weather roads. Unmetalled roads go out of use in the rainy season. The length of the road per 100 square kilometer of an area is known as density of road. Distribution of road is not uniform in the country. Density of all roads varies from only 12.14 km in Jammu and Kashmir to 1517.77 km in Kerala as on 31st March 2011. with the national average of 142.68 km. Road transportation in India faces a number of problems. Keeping in view the volume of traffic and passengers, the road network is inadequate. About half of the roads are unmetalled and this limits their usage during the rainy season. The national highways are inadequate too. Moreover, the roadways are highly congested in the cities and most of the bridges and culverts are old and narrow. However, in recent years, fast development of road network has taken place in different parts of the country. Children, that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.